Alright, make all candy disappear, please. Alright, thank you very much. Alright, good day. Welcome to the class. Today's class is going to be on Department of Defense. What we're going to be concentrating on is on the word wall, the word knowledge of operational command, specified strategic tactical and theater. First off, Department of Defense. What is it?
They're the ones who take charge of the military. They take care of them
Protects the United States.
and they basically like make the plans for them in a way.
Okay, very good. Wouldn't you add?
I was gonna say they protect the military vehicle
They provide the needs.
to the military force.
They provide things to the military force, and they protect what? Give me a little bit more.
Protect the security of the
Us from threats.
defending country.
Yeah, they defend the country, right? That's the whole big picture of the Department of Defense. They are there to defend the country against all enemies, okay? Now, what agencies come to mind when we talked about the Department of Defense?
The military,
Army,
police.
Navy, CIA, you said FBI? Is the FBI under the DOD?
No.
It's not, okay? They're the only one that's not on there, okay? CIA has their own department also, but the one that that I think that you're thinking about is the NSA, National Security Agency,
The
okay?
Coast Guard.
All right, Coast Guard, correct, okay? What other agencies do you think are on there?
Border.
Hmm?
Border Patrol.
Yeah, border.
Border Patrol, okay?
Oh, the other.
What else? And I bet you guys had all of these on your mind too.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. This is actually a schematic of the Department of Defense. Okay.
What is that schematic? Like,
A schematic is basically a diagram of showing what is where, who is who. Okay. That's what a schematic is. It tells you everything that you need to know. All right. If you look at the top, let me get this little sign all the way up top. You have the Secretary of Defense, right? Right next to that, you have the Office of the Inspector General. Okay. The Office of the Inspector General is a very important department of that because they're the ones that oversee that everybody's following the rules and the laws. That's what the IG is for. They want to make sure that nobody's taking advantage of the rules or the laws to try to do something crooked, something that's against what they're supposed to do. All right, that's what they're for. And if you see that they've got a direct line to the side, they're not technically completely underneath the Secretary of Defense, but they're to the side. So they're there to watch him also, to make sure he doesn't do anything crazy, okay? Then you have the Office of Secretary of Defense, where it has under that, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, the Undersecretaries of Defense, Assistant Secretaries of Defense, and other specified officials, which are all of these. We can go through all of them, but it's gonna take us all day to go over each one, okay? And then it breaks down into the Department of the Army, Department of the Navy, Department of the Air Force, and if you see the Secretary of the Navy, headquarters of the Marine Corps, falls underneath them, okay? And then over to the right side, you have the Joint Chiefs of Staffs. The Joint Chiefs of Staffs, that is the main general that's in charge of either the Army, the Navy, Air Force, Marines, okay? They have their equal say on it, okay? We're going to get into the combatant commands here in a few. When we go over the key words, we're going to talk about those. All right. Any questions about the schematic?
no, sir.
Okay, just so you guys know, you guys are going to have to memorize all of this for your quiz tomorrow. Okay.
Hey,
Are you saying?
I think I'm having.
Yes.
No,
What
why
was
is
this
it only
yesterday?
on the Joint Chief of Staff, like, the line is different, like, connecting to the camera?
Chairman, the dotted line.
Oh, Chairman, yeah, the dotted line.
Right here.
Yes.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because each one of these theaters, or what we call theaters, we'll go over the keywords in a minute, they're in charge of a certain portion of the world, okay, of what goes on in that area. So they need to go ahead and brief, all right? Because these guys are gonna have briefings, are gonna brief the four-star generals, or the admirals, the ones that are in charge of the Air Force, or the Army, or the Navy, or the Marines, okay? That's why there's that little dash in there, okay? And Ms. Omareva, so you just don't freak out. Yes, I was kidding, you don't have to memorize the entire chart.
Okay.
All right, just half of it, okay? All right.
I believe it. He's gonna do it too.
All right, here you go. First question. Average ROTC is part of which government program?
I remember this.
There you go.
Nope.
Let's see if you get it right. Number 3.
That's fine.
Oh, that's my sergeant major over there, huh? All right.
Well, he has to unzip his one.
He's gonna take the full 30 seconds. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
I don't know, I don't got
dun. But he's a sergeant major for a reason. I haven't found that out yet.
What's my
excuse? That was my fault.
Okay.
Very good. Outstanding. Okay. All right.
I thought they were gonna choose that.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday, right? We understand why it's under Department of Defense, not Department of Education.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why?
Because the Army is the Department of Defense.
And their
Okay,
fund,
And JRTC is not liable.
yeah.
there you go.
You get paid
All
by
right.
them.
Very good. All right, learning objectives, examine the mission of the Department of Defense, identify the 4 major responsibilities inherent to the DoD's mission, explain civilian control over the military, determine the relationship between the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Department of Defense, and define the keywords operational commands, specified, strategic, tactical, and theater. All right, let's go into page 4. I'm sorry, it's going to be page 6, 7. Let's get into the keywords right quick. Operational commands, Mr. Casas.
Commands performing the primary mission of the service as distinguished from the support commands.
Okay, what's that mean?
Wait, never read. Basically, I don't know how to explain.
Anybody want to help out? Commands performing the primary mission of the service as distinguished from the support commands.
I guess the people that take like, are the main ones that are supposed to take action.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay,
Which
pretty much that's what it is. The operational command is that command that's actually doing the mission. All right, and they're going to get their mission from higher above, coming back down. Okay, they can't add to or take away from the mission. They know exactly what they have to do. Now, what says on their support commands, think about this. For every infantry soldier that there is, there's 8 people supporting that one soldier. Okay? Basically the same thing. That infantry soldier is doing the operational command. Going out there, shoot, kill, destroy, defend, whatever way you want to put it, right? But then you have the support command, which is going to be his medical, his supply, his logistics, his mechanics, his weapon specialist, his communication, the information, the intelligence portion. All those things fall into to support that one individual. Okay? All right, next one, specified, Mr. Delgado.
To state explicitly or in detail.
So when you're giving orders of what you need to do, it needs to be what?
Specific.
It needs to be specific, so you know exactly what you're doing. There's no question about, okay, can I do this or can I do that? Okay? All right, Ms. Valenzuela, strategic.
Of or relating to the large scale or global planning and conduct of military strategy movements and or operations essential to the effective conduct of war.
Okay, in your own words, can you throw something in there? It's been in the news for a while. Let's look at Afghanistan. Okay? How was it strategic that we moved into Afghanistan? How did we use that? How did we think, what was the thinking process? How are we gonna go in there?
Let me think.
Hmm? In a tank?
They thought about the environment.
Huh?
They thought about the environment.
Thought about the environment?
That's already in
Yeah,
Like the
because you have to know as to what equipment you're gonna take with you to deal with that environment. Okay? That was one of the major issues that we had when we went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. We had the helicopters going in there. Well, when the helicopters hover above sand, all that sand just shoots up, right? It gets into the engine, it gets into the engine parts, it clogs up the engine. But most of that, the rotors or the blades are on top of the helicopter. That sand was going around so fast and hitting it so hard that it was starting to destroy those blades. In other words, it was sanding it down. It's just like if you were grabbing a sandpaper and going like
Are you
this on the blade.
serious?
Yes,
Oh.
that it created holes in it. Now, if you look at the rotors, there's a very thin piece of metal over the top, and the rest of them, it's like honeycomb. Okay? That's why it's flexible, and it can move. But once that sand starts hitting it and wears out on that metal, it's just gonna eat right through that honeycomb. And all of a sudden, there goes a blade and there goes a helicopter going down.
That's
So we have to we gotta think about the area what we're going into. All right, how do we protect against that? All right, how are we gonna move our people from point A to point B? Which walk, okay, are there gonna be mines there?
So like a plan to
Ooh,
prevent
that's scary.
casualties.
There you go, strategic, being strategic is knowing the plans. To prevent, like you said, like, to prevent casualties. You wanna make sure that you're well prepared to go into an area without hurting their people or hurting us, okay? Now, for us, the rules of engagement in Afghanistan we're plain and simple. We cannot fire until we are fired upon. Smart move, dumb move.
Smart move. Well,
Smart move?
yes.
Okay.
Because you need to know who's the enemy.
All right.
It could be just a normal civilian. You could just shoot him because you're stereotyping.
Okay, see your point on that one? All right. We're in a formation, a V-shaped formation. We're marching into a town. We see a guy up on a roof with a rifle. Okay? You're standing next to me. That guy shoots you. Oh, now we can shoot since he shot at us.
Okay,
Smart
but if
move,
you
dumb
see
move.
someone, okay.
With the rifle, you're already gonna shoot him, like, you're not gonna win.
Right.
But the rules of engagement states you cannot fire until fired upon.
Unless you see someone with a gun, they should change that.
Right.
Things that need to change. It has to be the call of the person in charge, I think, personally, okay? But at the same time, yeah, you see somebody with a rifle, it is somebody with a rifle get behind cover. All right, now let's find out what this guy's gonna do. All right, if he gets into a prone position, gets ready to shoot, then by all means, let's take him out, okay? Now, how would you use something like that, that's strategic in a civilian community?
Damn.
You are the head of a cellular market. You want to start and open up a business in Boise, Idaho. The population there is roughly about 75,000 people. The industry out there is raising cattle. But you want to put a cellular tower out there. What are you going to think about? What's going to be your strategy? What's going to be your plan
If it's really
to move in there?
worth it to do
Is it worth it? Okay. That's number one. Number two is going to be what?
Will the people actually like use it?
That's two. Okay, keep going with it. Somebody help her out. Don't let her come up with all the ideas.
Right. Sergeant Major.
How much money will that?
How much money it's going to cost? Okay.
Who will actually go out there and work?
Okay, keep going.
And how long are they willing to work, those people?
Okay, and we can keep going on with that idea. That's what is known as strategic, or using strategy. You gotta think of all these things when you're going in to fulfill your mission, okay, whatever the case is. Some of you guys are gonna get into that business, into the business field, in sales, and you're gonna be thinking about that. Every time you go, it doesn't matter what you're selling, but you gotta have a strategy. How are you going to get into that market? How are you gonna get into it? Because look at a pharmaceutical company. These pharmaceutical reps go all over the world, I mean, all over the United States and sometimes all over the world too. Visit hospitals, visit doctors. Hey, you need to try this drug out. Hey, you need to give this to this drug. You need to try this drug. You need to try this drug. Okay?
Isn't that what they do?
To get approved, that's what they do, in order to sell their drugs a lot more. Okay? Now, would it be wise if you got a drug that is used for adults, you go to a pediatrician, hey, you need to try this drug. Would it be a smart move or a dumb move? Dumb move, right? Because all he deals with are with kids and not with adults. All right? That's strategy. All right? Okay, Ms. Serna. Theater.
A large geographic area in which active military operations are coordinated and conducted.
Okay. What do you think that means?
It's basically like, I'm explaining it to people, like, you could see the area, like, it says that you could see the land, the sea, and the air,
Mm-hmm.
to see, like, you're basically seeing the surroundings and,
You see the surroundings.
yeah, it's
Okay.
not that.
Isn't it kind of like basically a military base? It's a base because people are there to see what's around it.
Yes and no. Okay? Theater, it's just like, kind of like an auditorium, right? What you're seeing, the theater. What do you see on it when you're watching the stage, if you're seeing a play? You're seeing everything that's on there, the environment, all the little decorations that they have, and how it entails into the entire play. Same thing for the military. A theater is going to be a portion of the land. All right? For example, there is the European theater. What does that consist of? Everything that's in Europe. There's the African theater. What does it consist of? Everything in Africa. The Asian theater. Everything in Asia. Okay? We basically divide, in the military, we divide the world up in maps. If you saw the combatant signs, let me bring that up again, so we can go over that. The combatant commands, each one has a specific area. The Africa Command, Central Command, European Command, Northern Command, Pacific Command, Southern Command, Special Operations Command, Strategic Command, and Transportation Command. Each of those is a different theme, okay, that they're focused on. And that's all they focus on, what's going on here, what's going on now, all right? And they're the ones that go back and brief the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Joint Chiefs of Staff get all the information together, and they go back and brief the Secretary of Defense. Secretary of Defense gets all this information, he go briefs the President. This is what's going on in the world today, okay? And this is going on every single day. Every day is what's going on, okay? It doesn't stop, all right? All right, so with the Secretary, okay, so what we talked about so far, DOD responsibility is what?
Resources.
Okay, resources,
The people, security,
people, what else?
Protection.
Wasn't that
the
fun?
Got phone,
land,
the
the land, or
Land?
country, whatever.
Okay,
Navigation.
huh?
Navigation.
Immigration,
Oh, navigation.
navigation? Yeah, with the Transportation Command, I'll take that. Okay. What else?
Financial.
Financial? What else? We got a little bit of everything on there, resources, people, security, land, navigation, financial. What are we missing?
Chain of command.
Chain of command, okay. Something a little bit more.
The military,
There you go. Military, that's a big portion of it, all right? In order to have a Department of Defense, you gotta have a military, right? If we don't have a military, more than likely, we're not gonna have a Department of Defense.
we ain't gonna have a work around.